Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII on ANZ with me, Zauberhaft. We are paying our greetings to Saz and Vanille just before plunging into the inner secrets of Datalog that has been updated from the previous moment, starting right from the events as we already know we should. We have already started the events of the 5th chapter already, so let's jump right to the following one, Weapon of Choice. Taking the lead of his own free will, Hope precedes Lightning into the depths of the Gapra Whitewood. Yeah, I remember that. That was kind of brave of him. He needs to be stronger. Hope joins Lightning in her fight against the Sanctum because he thinks the experience of battle will toughen him up. Well, I think it's a little bit tough way to toughen up, if I may say so, but that's a sure and steady way to do so. He cannot show fear. He cannot show weakness. Actually, he can, but I believe Lightning's feats from the 4th chapter have influenced him so that he does not view this as a prospect. If he does, he's afraid Lightning will decide to go on without him again. Exactly so. So even if it is a lie, he puts on a brave face and pushes his terror aside. Let's hope it doesn't damage his psyche. Seeing that he's struggling to control his fear, Lightning gives Hope a knife in an attempt to boost his confidence. Very nice of her to have done this. I believe this act has served its purpose. The price of vanity. A woodlands observation battalion patrol passes by. Yeah, and actually Hope helped Lightning to escape their sight at this point. Strangely enough, the soldiers don't appear to be looking for intruders. From her own experience as a soldier, Lightning realizes why. These troops still don't know about the Lassie fugitives. SciComm, wishing to cover their failure to exterminate them in the Vile Peaks, is suppressing information. Yeah. Isn't it better? Doesn't that mean they are not that much willing to stop Lassie? If the Lassie are that dangerous, better stop them first, and then care for the information. Or probably the people of the current society are so brainwashed against the Lassie, so just the mere thought that they might be around might spring up the chaos. Well, that basically means the society is too unstable. It is inclined too much into the thought that Lassie are evil. I mean, this society has been brainwashed that the Lassie are evil, that everything Pulse-related is evil too. They also have been, convinced that Sanctum's army is powerful enough to stop any threats that can pop up on the radar, and beyond the radar too. But they did not really manage to give the people the confidence they need. Because how is that? If people burst into panic at the mere information, some pieces of information popping up about the Lassie or the Pulse, that means they don't trust the army all that much. Because, hey, they are not going to act if they trust the army, if they trust that they are protected. So what's the point of acting? What's the point of panicking? But if it still happens, then that means whatever purpose the government serves at this point, it doesn't fulfill its designated functions. Even if those functions are bad and really not leading to anything good, even that. But still, the government doesn't cope with even that, if it comes to that. So I'm not sure if the things happening are for the good cause. They shouldn't keep the information hidden, at least from officials. Come on. That's not the way to go, if they want to achieve anything. As an elite unit under the direct command of the Sanctum, PSICOM has its reputation to consider. And probably its reputation is already ruined, as I've already expected, and as I have already explained. That's what I see of it. That pride has left a hole in the security net for Lightning and Hope to sneak through. Oh, such a poetic way to express that. It seems their journey through the Gapra Whitewood will be easier than expected. Well, that was not all that much easy. Well, for me at least, and gameplay-wise it wasn't easier than expected, but it was okay in terms of both difficulty, length, and expectations I had. After all the ill fortune that has befallen them so far, they're certainly due some luck. Yeah, the luck. And the stupidity of the local officials. Or somebody's being a smartass, allowing all that crap to happen. That's the question. I mean, if that's the serious scenario, if the plot of the game is that serious, I would suspect something like that somebody has already trying to spring the trap on us and leading us into something, but maybe not. Thanks to PSICOM's reluctance to share intelligence, the security level in the Gapra Whitewood is comparatively low. Except for the beasties that were lurking everywhere around. Even taking on the soldiers that were actually designed to maintain the order. Actually, it is a very dangerous area even without LSC, since the wild fauna of this place can dispatch of the Sanctum troops. The Sanctum troops are some kind of cannon fodder or what? Now that they have a little space to breathe, Lightning and Hope ponder the fates of their fellow Lassie. Saz and Vanille must still be on the run, and who knows how Snow must be faring. Oh, well, we have already seen a couple of that. Snow is okay, and Saz and Vanille safely made it to the Sunleth waterscape, whatever that was, but they are safe and sound, having escaped the Vile Peaks, so everything seems alright for now. And Snow, this is something I don't really realize. Is he a prisoner or not? So let's hunt down some Lassie, and he's like, okay, let's go hunt down some Lassie, even though they're my friends, even though Sarah said to save Cocoon and them consecutively, so I'm not sure. Out of the blue, Hope asks Lightning why Snow's gang calls itself Nora. Though puzzled by his sudden interest, Lightning supplies him with the answer. It's an acronym that stands for No Obligation, Rules, or Authority. Yeah, that's what R stands for, rules. They wish to live without restrictions, she explains. Though some might argue that they really wish to live without his responsibility. Well, that's an arguable question, because too much control from the government, rules, authorities, and obligations means totalitarianism, basically, which is bad, as long as we refer to history of human race. If you allow me to say so, totalitarian countries have not been like having a fame of prosperous and really well cultured, but at the same time, that's the rule. If you loosen these ends, if you allow people absolute freedom, that will turn into anarchy, which is in no way better. That's actually a point for discussion. So there is some sort of ideal and optimized level of control. That's what I should say. So, living with no obligations, rules, or authority whatsoever is not the way to go at all. Or otherwise, there only maybe one way to go if the people who live with no obligation, rules, or authority have developed such a rich and refined common sense, such a deep feeling of responsibility, rules, and obligations, that they don't need anything imposed on them. They are responsible, they are sensible, they are respected and respectful enough so that they can basically do that on their own without anybody to tell them how it is done. I mean, not any certain said organizations, but no morals either. Just imagine that the society lives without any morals, but still, people do have those morals. That's some kind of idealized society the human species might come to one day in the future. As an optimistic person, I do hope for that. I do hope that there will be nobody around to tell us what to do, and the human race will behave in the top synergies level and top kindness, love, happiness level as it probably and it's possibly and humanly can. But yeah, so far, with the brainwashing, with double standards, and whatever flaws we have in the current society, both in-game and in real life, I think it's not possible in current circumstances. So probably that's the way to go. No responsibility, no obligations, rules, or authority is not the way to go, at least judging by the situation. Maybe Snow claims and considers that he can behave without those, but that doesn't mean no morals, though. Basically, they have their own reasons to detest the local government, so probably they act out of antagonistic feelings, so this is why they have this name. But I agree with Hope. That implies some lack of responsibility anyway. Hope's face darkens at his explanation. Spurred by the agitation, he hurries onwards through the waiting gate. Where's an enemy when you need one? He needs an outlet for the anger that suddenly threatens to consume him. Oh, does he? I think he has enough fighting. And lightning gives him enough fighting too. Yeah, I do beg your pardon for this long speech not being that much game related, but I think this is something I should tackle because this game raises problematic questions like that. Yeah, of revenge and regret. Lightning learns the reason for Hope's animosity towards Snow. His mother's death during the chaos of the Purge. Believing the responsibility to lie with the Nora leader, the grief-stricken boy has been feeding his rage ever since. Hope's motivation joining Lightning in her vendetta is to experience battle and grow strong enough to challenge Snow. So he insists on a duel or whatnot. I think that it was worth it to just leave Hope alone at this point, at the point in the 4th chapter, because he was too grief-stricken, that's for sure. But now it starts to grow into something dangerous, because even Hope doesn't know himself what to do. He basically says that sorry won't cut it, and just making Snow apologize for what has happened will not solve the problem, but at the same time, what Hope is going to do as he sees Snow, as he faces him? Will he stick the knife into his back? Will he challenge him to a duel or whatnot? I don't think Hope even considers that. I don't think the boy actually thinks about that, what he's going to be doing. I think he's just acting out of emotion at this point, and this needs to be stopped already. If it goes on like that, it can incline to whatever direction, and it may be violent direction, if you ask me. The blade in Hope's hand spines brightly. Will the gift Lightning gave him to boost his confidence become the instrument of his revenge? Well, that's the question. I think it doesn't come to that. The weapon Hope stares at so intently awakens memories in his companion. Oh yeah, in Lightning, that is. On Lightning's birthday, Sarah confessed to her sister that she had become a pulselessy. Or not exactly she, but Snow did it in her stead, and that was the turning point for Lightning. Not willing to believe the story, Lightning pushed Sarah away with disdainful words. By the time she discovered that Sarah had been telling the truth, it was too late. Well, I'm guessing it's not the way to... well, does Lightning, in reverse, trust Sarah enough? How could she have possibly thought that Sarah, her sister, her loving sister, and her only family could just pop up the joke like that? I know, that's done out of psychology. Like, first tell something striking to a person, that the person like gets worried and anxious, and then tell the person something you actually wanted to warn him against, or tell him about, or her, doesn't matter, so that the person doesn't feel that stricken after the second piece of information. That's it. It's like comparative rule of psychology. It's like, yeah, that's it. If you gain a massive blow and then like a small punch, you will not even feel this small punch. Arguable, but very likely. I don't think Sarah, that cute princess-like lady, was in a shape to manipulate Lightning that much. I don't think that was in Sarah's psychology. So she was merely just afraid that Lightning wouldn't understand her, since Lightning is not only kinda grumpy, but she's a military official, and that's not the place, and it's not the address to, like, come with a question of becoming a lessee. So yeah, Sarah was at a loss at that time, and Snow was probably the only one to help her. But one way or another, Lightning also didn't understand the situation at that point. I think it would be better for Sarah to finally find the strength and tell that to Lightning herself. Just having Snow beside her is going to be a nice thing, but still, it's her lips that were supposed to pronounce those words. I have become a lessee. What to do, Lightning? Let's just deal with that as a family, because is there any other way? It's like so, and there is nothing else we can do about this but solve the problem together. Deal with this together. And Snow... And then when there was the time for Snow to pop up saying like, hey, girls, I can help with whatever you can come up with. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm with you with all my power, and no matter what you are thinking about it. That might be the proper order of things, but for some people it remains a mystery. That's no really clear-cut evidence and clear-cut recipe for that, but they should have been more attentive to each other, which people should always do. I know that I sound like some smarty pants at this point, but that's the things I'm thinking while playing this game. I'm just saying that. I'm making conclusions on the basis of the storyline, just trying to come up with the idea what could have prevented this situation to pop up in the first place. Nevertheless, let's go on. Yeah, now the knife is all she has left of her sister, a birthday gift, a symbol of unbearable regret. Yeah, unfortunately, unbearable regret. Yeah, by the time she discovered Sarah's been telling the truth, it was too late. And it was just a couple of moments late, because right after Sarah left, followed by Snow, the TV bulletin has announced the appearance of the Foul Sea, and Lightning suddenly discovered it all was the truth. But she couldn't have done anything else but joining the Purge to get to Sarah and do the last she could to solve the situation. That's it. That's it. Yeah. The outcome is do things before it's late. Yeah, Operation Nora. This is the name Hope has come up with. As Hope reaches out a hand to fallen soldier, Lightning stops him with a harsh reminder. They have chosen the path of war. They will face many soldiers on the way, and it's kill or be killed. If you allow yourself to be controlled by compassion, if you allow yourself to falter, then you are lost. Lightning teaches Hope a strategy for removing hesitation. Decide upon a goal and shut out everything else. That's the way to go. If you're under pressure, there is no time to think over a lot of things. Like, just focus on one goal and shut out all the surrounding thoughts. That's the way to go. That's the way it functions. That's the way psychology works, I think. But the problem is, it is not easy to shut out everything. Like, sometimes the terrible, insurmountable pile of emotions and information overwhelms the mind of yours and of any other person. It can be possible for anybody, and it basically cripples a person. That becomes some kind of characteristic that predetermines the ability of a certain person to behave and perform under pressure. So if you can deal with emotions or you can't. Referring to me, yeah, normally I'm not the person to perform very well under pressure. There may be a certain level, but generally I prefer to skip the pressure and avoid it as long as I can, because if it like rushes on top of me, I will hardly be able to deal with that without much help from my friends, relatives, those I love, and that's kind of confession of mine. Yeah, that's it. I must just deal with that. Toughening up is an option, but it's not done within one day or within 1 hour anyway. Hope takes these words to heart and comes up with Operation Nora. Named after his dead mother, it is the means by which he will exact vengeance upon Snow. Means, yeah, but what kind of vengeance he is planning on? This is what I don't really get at this point. And I wish I did before he executes the vengeance. Though he knows it won't bring his mother back, it's nevertheless something he needs to do. Lightning soon realizes her mistake. Her lecture to abandon compassion was intended as a warning against the hesitation she fears will be his undoing. But he has clearly interpreted it as a cue to hurl himself headlong into harm's way. Yeah, really? Well, yeah, he did kind of rush himself against the monster. Yeah, good thing I was around to handle the situation, and it was kind of poetic that he did die once during the boss battle. I'm guessing that was the result of his over-hesitation and then rushing forwards like a happy-go-lucky, thinking that everything is going to be okay, but that's not the way to go with Acer Protaflorian. You should always watch for his attacks. And one way or another, Hope is still Synergist. He was supposed to help Lightning on the way. I mean, that's the way battles are won. Doesn't matter who leads or who is in the support role, the Synergist. I'm not talking about the character role, I'm talking about the phenomenon in this life. Synergy is going, well, must be on a certain level. If it is not, the leader and the led troops may have whatever skills they possess. Without synergy, they will fail. That's the way it's done. So, regretting her words, Lightning continues on through the White Wood. Without saying anything to Hope, though, she could have, but she decided not to. And driving forces. Hope now concentrates all his efforts on Operation Nora, his plan for taking revenge against Snow. Well, at least something leads him, that's what I should say. Yeah, though she feels responsible for his newly acquired recklessness in battle, Lightning finds herself unable to say anything. Yeah, that's the thing, but why? She's afraid that if she prevents Hope from fighting, he will lose the drive he needs to keep going and succumb to despair. Well, probably. Because she still treats him as a child, which he is. So probably that has the point. Yeah, very nice of you, Datalog, soulless machine, to have reminded me about the human motivation for stuff. I actually did not think about it that way. Okay, that's nice. I didn't think the Datalog would provide me with this psychological review here. And analysis of Lightning's behavior. Is it capable of doing that too? Interesting. Not knowing how to reach Hope, Lightning rescinds her earlier decision and suggests they visit the boy's father in Palampolum. Oh yeah, so it was Lightning who insisted on there being no side trips first, but now she decided to change her mind just to, like, make amends for her mistakes. Okay, that's the way to go. Now I understand that. I was kind of surprised that she said she wanted to visit his father's place. But now I do understand that. This is how they build up relations after all this journey. Meanwhile, Snow struggles with his conscience as he prepares to help the cavalry track down the other Pulse Lassie. Yeah, and what is the motivation for him to track down the other Lassie? I don't really know. Probably he thinks that those are out to hurt Cocoon, and since he is not, he is struggling against his own arguments, but still the winning point is that they are out to hurt Cocoon and he is not because Sarah told him not to. Something like that. He doesn't fancy the prospect of fighting against other Lassie, but still, there is something catchy about this. I still have a lot of questions to answer and to be answered. Snow swore to do whatever it takes to save Cocoon. What has happened to make him act against his promise? But is he out to hurt Cocoon? He's not hurting anything. He tried to save Sarah and he was captured, and he's basically doing nothing at this point. If he attacks other Lassie that doesn't hurt Cocoon, that might rather save Cocoon from their violence. If he thinks they're out to hurt Cocoon, at least that's what Lightning was saying. She was against the government, she was against anything. And she was not supposed to be ruled by anybody. That's how arrogant she is. Well, alright. I think I just lost the line a little bit, because I don't follow the logic. Now clear of the vile peaks, Saz and Vanille approach a stretch of beautiful countryside that promises an easier road to travel. Spoiler alert, easiness cancelled. And this is how Chapter 6 begins, in sun-dappled flight. Sun-dappled flight? Okay. As they flee with no particular destination in mind, Saz and Vanille spot warships passing overhead. The military craft appeared to be flying in the direction of Palampolum. Lightning and Hope were heading towards that city. And they are still heading towards that city. And that means it is going to be terrible as soon as they arrive, because this is going to be a fight of magic against outnumbering troops in the middle of the city, highly dense, populated by the local dwellers. It's going to be terrible because no one is going to alert those. I hope they at least do something to alert the people of the city before the Lassie arrive, just to, you know, cut the losses to the minimum. Well, let's see about that. Could the army have found them? Not yet, but they themselves are running right into the army. Though Saz is worried for his former companion's safety, he knows that any attempt to rescue them from Sanctum troops would be suicide. Still, they can just walk away. Can they? That's the question. I've already commented upon this. I think just by merely running, they are not doing anything. They are not achieving anything. They're not even exactly running from the troops. Sooner or later, they will get caught. And just the fact that they decide on going to one of the cities is a bad choice, because the more populated the area is, the more chance they have to get detected and spotted and eventually caught. First having to fight, and then having to choose, as Lightning puts it, to resist or surrender. And they already gave up on any resistance. They have given up on any resistance, as I may see. Since they have decided to run, they are not trying to resist. Then there is only one thing they will be exposed to, is the prospect of surrendering forever. That's not the good thing. That's not the way to go. It's either resist or surrender from the very beginning, or I think this is how it's done. They're just delaying the inevitable. They will get caught if they don't resist. Let's see how the situation unravels, but that's my prediction. Oh yeah. Reasoning that it would be best to put as much distance between themselves and the army as possible, she suggests heading in the opposite direction towards the city of Nautilus. Well, that's kind of a desperate and harsh decision. Like, the army's there, let's run the other way. And what if they get surrounded? It's kind of easy to predict that they will. The only thing they win is that the army doesn't know yet where they exactly are, and probably they are rather safe in Sunleth Waterscape from the army from Sanctum, but they cannot remain in this area forever, right? And so Vanille skips off through the dappled shade of Sunleth Waterscape, only too eager to put danger behind them once more. Okay, I do understand that, but the 13 days, we have three notes here as well. The opposition. It was day 2. Snow was overjoyed to meet the older sister of his beloved Sarah, but Lightning was far from impressed. Well, yeah, of course, she's a soldier official, and Snow is a kind of happy-go-lucky guy who thinks he's everybody's pal, denying and detesting all the officials like that. It's like behaving out of his own volition and out of his own values. And such people, no matter whether they are doing the good or the bad thing normally face some kind of antagonism from any official, well, from any government. That's the thing. That's the usual run of things, unfortunately. She had never approved of him or his group's unsanctioned activities. Yeah, the group does matter here, just as I said. As far as Lightning was concerned, Nora's actions, hunting down weak monsters and acting like heroes, were reckless and irresponsible. Lightning also considers this irresponsible. No matter, it's not a surprise knowing who she is. She wanted Snow to regret about dating her sister, but the young man just laughed away her demands. His flippant attitude did nothing but reinforce her original impression. Oh yeah, but it's like the antagonism, but there is his love towards Sarah on the other part of this. Yeah, as the other part of this balance. So it's not easy. It's just bound for conflict at this point, because, hey, is that so easy to expect the denial from Snow? Like, I have been loving Sarah for all this time, now that you say I shouldn't be... Okay, goodbye Sarah, I'm going away. Well, that is the last thing I would expect from Snow. So Lightning was not correct on that one either. So that was what we got on the day 12. During the celebration, yeah, on Lightning's birthday, Sarah revealed she had become a pulselessee. Well, Lightning said Snow did pop this question. Again, why is it said that Sarah confessed? I didn't hear her confessing. Well, I didn't hear Snow either, but I'm just grasping at the only clue I have. So that's the question for the writers, for the scenery makers, right? Yeah. And had accepted Snow's proposal for marriage. Which just basically turned out for Lightning to be some kind of, hey, you know, I have become a lessee and my life is ruined, so let's just ruin it even further down, having accepted Snow's proposal. And he's like a local tribe and parentsless and whatever. I don't have any objections about parentsless orphans or whatnot, but, you know, sometimes people do. Just the way I hear it. So maybe Lightning still had some kind of struggle against that too. Thinking her sister had made it all up, Lightning chased her from the room with harsh, biting words. And also, ladies and gentlemen, this is just like I'm applying to you right now. If you know what the offense was, just feel free to start the discussion down there in the comment section. I will read through whatever you write in there, I promise, which I'll do all the time. I am in the habit of this anyway, no matter how many comments you post, because I really want to know what the offense was. If I remember correctly, Lightning's words, she only said something like, if you really are lessee, it's my job to deal with you, and that's full stop there. So that's definitely her job, both because she has become a lessee and because she's her only family. I mean, Sarah is Lightning's only family. Sarah has become a lessee, which makes Lightning the first person to step into action in Sarah's fate. If anybody is going to help her, it must be Lightning, right? As the only family and as the only trusted person. But Snow was beside her, and that's kind of natural that loved people turn out to be closer than the actual family a lot of times, but still, there should have been a sort of relation, a sort of trust between them preemptively. That's what I think. By the time she realized Sarah was telling the truth, it was too late. Her sister had returned to the vestige and become a prisoner of the Foul Sea. The only thing Sarah had left behind was Lightning's birthday present, a survival knife. Survival knife, some kind of survival knife. What is this survival knife? Well, it's just a very nicely designed knife, I think. Or some kind of, you know, knife for travelers or something. And as far as I remember, Lightning was a soldier, but she's been carrying out her duty in the most calm and most serene, if I may apply this word here, battalion in the whole Guardian Corps. Bodom Security Regiment was known as the most peaceful place to serve in the military, if I recall the datalog reading from the previous chapters. So, was it really worth it? But probably Lightning liked the present anyway. She did, even though she was irritated by their behavior and by their confession, she did appreciate the present. She said it was practical, so it was nice. Yeah. I believe she did like it, and this is what Sarah made right. At least some psychology she is aware of. I mean, Lightning-related psychology. And day 12, taken. Taken whom? In Snow and Sarah taken. After announcing the discovery of the lower world being the Sanctum, instigated the purge. Before the Pole's Foul Sea could be carried away and Sarah doomed to become a thief, Snow had to get into the vestige and find out what her focus was. Oh, so he wanted to accompany her into the vestige. So why didn't he jump right after her? Why did he stay on the Velocycle then, if he wanted to accompany her to the very end? If they could figure out Sarah's task, then maybe Lightning would finally believe them. With that plan in mind, the young Nora leader brought his fiancée back to the place she was branded. But she was instead imprisoned there, without Snow to be able to help her in any way. Things went horribly wrong, and only Sarah entered the vestige as a prisoner of the Foul Sea. Yep, exactly. Snow explained the situation to Lightning before rushing off to rescue his future wife. So Snow did return to Lightning afterwards and explain everything to Lightning. I wish I see that scene going. Yeah, seriously, I'm not sure, but I think that scene might be just a fascinating thing to look at. Let's go for locales. This is what we are exactly in the Sunlit Waterscape, off limits to civilians. This unusual nature reservation is often visited by Sanctum officials engaged in ecological field studies. Ah, so this some kind of research field where the actual natural conditions are re-established in order to observe the wildlife in its, well, to study the habits, to study the laws of nature and everything. Why would they need that for? What would they need that for? I mean, they have the Foul Sea around. They'd rather study the Foul Sea themselves. Except for only one thing, that probably Foul Sea wouldn't allow that. They will never allow human beings to go too deep into the essence of how they function, I think. Because they are themselves being too proud of everything. But that's again, it's only my view of the situation. I don't claim that to be correct. Research into the local ecosystem is conducted via climate control mechanisms installed in the area. These mechanisms provide direct access to the Foul Sea, in charge of manipulating weather conditions. Oh, so they can even manipulate the weather conditions manually, and the Foul Sea allow them to, just for the purposes of their study. That's a very interesting thing. Woodlands Observation Battalion. The most, the least efficient crew in the entire Sanctum, I think. Because they didn't really cause all that much danger and didn't pose that much of an obstacle in our way. This unit is part of the Guardian Corps. It's part of the Guardian Corps. Should have paid attention to that. But unlike the Bodom Security Regiment, the Woodlands Observation Battalion patrols non-residential areas. Such as the Gapra Whitewood. Its main duty is to prevent wild creatures from encroaching on suburban, I guess. Yeah, suburban districts. The battalion also provides the bulk of security personnel for the Gapra Whitewood bioweapon research facility, despite the facility's status as a SciComm-run initiative. Well, yeah, that's what has misled me. I remember that bioweapons are strictly under SciComm's jurisdiction, so why would Guardian Corps meddle in this? Well, maybe that has some point under this. Yeah, we have some new information here too. Let's see if there is anything new about Hope. Hope lives in the city of Palumpolems. It is something we know. However, when they visit the town of Bodom, with his mother Nora, they are swept away in the chaos of the Purge. Nora dies in ensuing violence. Hope later becomes a pulse of the sea. That's something we know for sure. The boy blames Snow for his mother's death, driven by his desire to revenge against Nora's leader in the Sanctum. Hope eagerly joins Lightning on her headlong charge into battle. Yeah, now that we know something about Hope, we can basically skip any commentary about that, because I have already mentioned, I hope, everything I wanted to say about that. And now we know something about Nora Estime, Hope's mother. Worried about the worsening relationship between her son and his father, Nora wonders how to break down the barriers Hope has created. Wow, she's kind of conscious mother. Wanting to protect her boy from the horrors of the Purge, she volunteers to join the battle, but is killed during the chaotic conflict. Unfortunately, she did not deserve that, but that was her choice, and that makes her proud and kind of hero-like person. Nora begs Snow to get Hope home, but the Nora leader never hears the boy's name before she slips from his grasp. Yeah, because I believe she died not because of the fall, but rather because of the rocket. Well, I just think so. It just seems that way. And finally we can go to see the anime intel here, but I prefer skipping that because I'm using the anime intel section of the data log only to just learn about the most difficult enemies that exist out there. Militarized units, Annihilators, yeah, that's where it is. Aster Protaflorian, that has been the final boss here. Yeah, you see? It tends to alter his own elemental weaknesses, and also it does tend to alter his own elemental resistances and the absorbed elements too. So keep a watchful eye on this thing all the time, because it says that it transforms into fire, but that means he's vulnerable to, if memory serves, ice or water. So probably, even now, having beaten this guy, I don't really know what exactly his weaknesses mean. So, if you ask me how to beat that guy, just every time you see the switch in his elemental structure, every time you see it changes its color, basically, just tap that button and see what changed in this screen. See if you can deliver a couple of blows against them, because I don't really know. The best way is just to look it up all the time and sweep those elemental attacks. Just give them a whirl. Skip that repeat button for a time being and start choosing those commands manually. This is what this boss is designed for. Just like engaging in an auto battle will not do, because the response timing is not going to be that fast if you switch on the auto battle, the Dame auto battle command. I wish it was absent in this game. What? Why is it even needed for? But yeah, probably it's needed to make the life of the players easier, but I don't know if it possibly can be easier in any way. The locations are linear, there are not really too many skills at this point, so why not give a whirl to your hands, ladies and gentlemen, and utilize different buttons of your controller, or the keyboard for that matter, just for once. Okay, one way or another, that was really fun to fight against that guy. And yeah, I have to congratulate you, ladies and gentlemen, right now on finishing another section of data log and completing the reading part number 4. As soon as the following episode comes, we will march onwards through the Sunlit Waterscape. And for now, see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Zauberhaft signing out.